Okay, welcome back to the bench. Today, I just kind of wanted to run through like my process and what I got for reloading my 6.5 here. I got my de-vergified here Lapua brass, first firing. Just getting some measurements. I'm going to try and keep a good record of this brass because that's something that I didn't do on the first 50 pieces of brass. I bought some Norma brass, but I've lost count on how many times I've reloaded them. That's a bad thing probably, so I don't think I'm going to fire them anymore. I don't know if I'm going to retire them. I do want to get them annealed before I do anything else with them though. But until then, I'm going to start keeping track anyways, so I just kind of wanted to walk you guys through my process here. I did start out just like, standard die set, doing all that stuff. But I've since moved on, and I got a Frankfurt Arsenal deprimer because I was running the Hornady custom grade dies using this, with my old stuff, with the mandrel ball inside and the deprimer, depriming on the press and resizing all in the same step or whatever. And I think to really just get, I have a few reasons why I changed my method from that. And they're not necessarily all precision related, but a few of them are, and I feel like it makes a fair amount of sense for me to do it this way, because I have actually pulled out the expander mandrel, or the expander mandrel in my resizing die, along with that the depriming pin as well. I could have got like a smaller mandrel, but I just figured, what the hell, I'll just get a deprimer, that way I can deprime everything I got, and it's not just cartridge specific. Plus this is pretty comfortable and pretty easy, and I don't have to run everything through the press, so I find this to be a little bit quicker. This is like 45 bucks over at the Cabela's. And it does a pretty good job, and I don't know, no complaints with this thing yet. But I've decided that I'm going to change up how I do it. It's kind of neat though, it captures all the primers in the little thing, you just dump them right in the bag. And you guys will have to forgive me because I'm just getting over a little cold or flu or something right now, so my voice doesn't sound the best. I'm a little congested, so apologies for that. Through what I got here, I'm using Hornady 6.5 Creedmoor custom grade die set. And like I said before, my resizer, I've taken the decapping and the expander mandrel out of the die because I picked up a expander mandrel from PMA Tool. Those guys are really great. This is really affordable compared to a few of the other options I was looking at. The quality is superb on it, and the first time I loaded these, I used this for the first time, and I really like the way that this goes about doing stuff, because now, and it's really for two reasons, and the two reasons are there's precision, and then there is brass longevity. On the precision side of things, neck tension, effectively how hard the case squeezes on the bullet, and there are two main ways to do that. The first one is neck sizing, which has, I believe, fallen out of vogue as of lately, and neck mandrel sizing has really taken the lead, and I like it for the reasons, I like this over the neck sizing method, because neck sizing sizes the outside diameter of the case, so it sizes this diameter of the case, whereas this one opens the inside diameter, so it doesn't really matter how thick the neck of your brass is. It'll make the inside diameters of each case more uniform than if you had, and Lapua brass is really good because I haven't gotten to turning necks. I don't think I really want to get that deep into it. But as far as I'm concerned, the Lapua brass is really consistent from everybody that I've heard of. So consistent brass, and then I'm going to consistently size the inside diameter of the brass for the neck tension, so I get everything that I can consistent, but also without going, you know, crazy deep down the rabbit hole. Moving on from the precision side of why I switched over to this and to the brass life side of things. Brass, like copper and many other soft metals, and work hardens. So, you know, you take a... Oh, lost it. Alright, so the staple is like a soft metal, right? It's not a very robust metal, but it's just like it, but it's like every other metal. So the thing is when this was sized, originally, you know, it came out in a flat sheet, came out flat, it got bent over, and then it got, you know, sliced up into all the individual staples. So it's already been moved on those joints one time. So if I move it back out and I flatten it back out, what I've effectively done is I've stretched all the molecules in the metal. You know, there's a grain structure inside the metal. And so as you... Holy crap, that's a loud helicopter. Sounds like it's landing in my backyard. But so as you... So back to what I was saying. As you work a metal, it becomes harder. The metal becomes harder and more brittle and more prone to breaking than it originally did. You got to think about that. The same thing with your brass that you load, right? All right, let's pause right there. So my main point of this is a long-winded point that I'm trying to make here, and I didn't even really get to it, so I'm just going to make it right now. My point for taking the expander ball out and the decapping pin out of the sizing die is so that I only neck size it one time, because if I, you know, deprime it and resize it with the mandrel that's in the die, and then use the neck mandrel that I bought from the PMA tool, like I'm sizing the neck twice, and I don't think it would really work as well either if you did it twice like that. So my main point is just like it's less unnecessary movement of the brass. Also, you can exchange the mandrels in that PMA tool for larger calibers, so if you reload for other items, you know, it works for that too. All right, back to the video. You know, pseudo, it's not really bending motion, but you work hard in your brass every time you run it through a die like this. And not to say that taking this out eliminates the work hardening of it. Of course, you know, there's no free lunch. It's going to get work hardened when I just send it into the case without that mandrel in there. But what I wanted to do that for is so that now I can control, and I could control this before too, but how much bump my shoulder gets. I'm trying to keep it in 1,000. Like I want to bump my shoulder 1,000, maybe 2,000ths at most. You know, is precision for it. So I'm going to try there. I'm going to start hopefully getting maybe 1.5 thousandths of shoulder bump, just so that it chambers in the rifle smoothly, is really what I'm going for. And then the neck size will size the neck down, but instead of like immediately sizing the neck down and ramming this thing back through, I've opted for this, which is a calibrated, measured device that will just open it up after the fact, after I size the whole case, and then I'm just going to open the mouth up. So I feel like it's a little less brutal on the brass to go this route, because this whole action all happening together at once, and you gotta, you know, you're dealing with factory dies, and I'm not saying that they're bad, but you know, and these are really consistent, but you know, and like it's also, you're not looking at it, you're not seeing if anything's building up on it or whatever. And you can buy different inserts depending on how much neck tension you want to set. So realistically, because I believe this diameter and this diameter are pretty similar, but anyways, so those are my two reasons for going this route. So I can have, you know, precise control over neck tension, and I feel that I'm not working my brass as much, and I can control my shoulder bump a little bit easier when it's the only thing I have to worry about with this die. So enough yapping about that stuff. And I also just use the Hornady bullet seating die. I don't have the fancy micrometer on it yet. I don't think I need one. I can get them pretty close, just with the comparator and with the calipers doing overall length things. So once I get this set, I mean, it's set where it is for the burgers right now, and I don't think I'm going to move it, because I think this is already preset to my 20 thousandths jump where I had the good groups. So I don't plan on really touching that once I get my recipe figured out here, but I thought I'd show you guys what I got going on there. Cool thing that happened to me, actually, it's a little side note here, cool thing that happened to me, my Lapua cases, they come in a case of 100, as you can see here, but mine actually came with a 101. So I have a brand new piece of Lapua that I keep up here for, that I'm going to just use as a reference for my loads later down the line with these, so that way, if I see anything funny, I can check what a brand new case would look like to whatever I have here. So, oh, and by the way, I'm using an RCBS Junior 3, I guess? I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. It works really well for this kind of stuff. Alright, let's see here. What are we working with on this first case? 1.535 inches. I want to bump the shoulder 1,000. Oh, here's another reason too that I like going from the insert, the mandrel inside, is now all I have to do is lube the outside of the case body, because I don't have to worry about the mandrel getting stuck in there and working carbon and stuff. So all I got to focus on is the body of the case, and when it comes to resizing the internal diameter, I can just lube up the mandrel a little bit. I've been experimenting with the graphite, like powdered graphite and all. I haven't figured it out quite out yet, but let's just see where we end up here. Oh, right on the money. 1,000th bump. I'm loving that. Alright. Same thing. 1.535 on the caliper now. 0.134. Bingo bango. Before I get any further, I'm actually going to go grab my rifle. Or I'm not even going to grab it and show it on video. I'm just going to chamber this into the chamber like I would a normal live round, and basically all I'm going to feel for is if it's hard to close the bolt on, and you'll know if there's resistance. If it just basically falls down, we're in the good. So I'll be right back. Alright. Bolt closed real nice and easy on it. I just want to triple check. Nothing moved. Perfect. Look at that. Another thing that I want to look at is after I've sized these, because I did already write down the length of the brass after the first firing, but generally the brass would move after the sizing because you're squeezing it all back into shape, and it's going to grow, and it's going to want to, all that material's got to go somewhere. But that one doesn't look like it moved very much. Actually, I just realized I've been measuring wrong. I think we did grow. Yes, we did. How much did we grow? Been right about 4,000ths on that case. Yeah, about the same there. So what I'll show you here is, this is a fired but unsized brass. This case, 1.910, which is the brand new case dimensions, length of the case. Let's go ahead and lube this sucker up and just size him. Also, I don't tumble this brass. I don't clean this brass because this brass never hits the ground. It comes out of my gun and I put it in a box, so I'm not worried about dirt. And from what I've heard, you could tumble it if you want to. Eric Cortina says he doesn't clean his, and he wins world championships, so we'll follow that trajectory. Okay, it looks like we grew about 5,000ths. So, from sizing, so I'm actually going to mark that down. I'm going to do a little... That'll be good data down the road, because I bet you what we're going to see because of the work hardening of the brass over time, the more firings it goes through, the more times we resize it. I think the amount the case grows is going to, every time we do it, I think it's going to go down because of how brittle the material, because right now, you got to think about, this is really soft metal, and it's soft and it's feeling good, and it's not tight yet, so it'll grow more. That's how it's kind of looking in my brain. I think that's what I would consider what I think would happen, but I could be wrong. Oh yeah, dude, this piece of brass almost grew to Sammy Speck. That one was already pretty long though, so I don't want to trim any of this. I'm not going to trim this brass, this go through. I'm going to check them, but that is still under. That's not going to interfere with my chamber at all, so I'm not worried about it. Gotta get another freaking case rack here. What do you guys, team digital or team analog? There's something about never running out of battery. My tool's always on. Oh, well, my battery died. I don't know where or when. I'll just recap here. We just sized all the brass, checked a lot of it, and a lot of it was in pretty good spec. The next video, we will prime and expand the necks of the pieces of brass while we charge and put the fun bits in. That's kind of boring, so that might be one video. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Hit the subscribe button. That would be really neat. Trying this out. See where it goes, but don't be afraid to leave a suggestion, or if you want me to do anything in particular, I'll be your Huckleberry. Deuce.